Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. And today I got thinking, with everything going on in the news today and everything going on, the Capitol, and how distressing sort of a feeling came over me today, one I haven't had since 9/11, almost 20 years ago. So I had this feeling like, oh man, and there's a lot more, the school closures are being extended and COVID is getting out of control. So there's just a lot of doom and gloom on the news right now. I mean, it was an overwhelming feeling sitting there watching the news this morning, as I'm sure a lot of you've had watching what's going on. And when you're trying to not vibrate and not resonate and not sit in negative energies like grief, sadness, anger, fear, shame, guilt, jealousy, like all these different vibrations are on the lower end of the scale. And when the world at large is basically vibrating at a low vibration right now, I mean, you turn on the news and it's a low vibration news, it's a low vibration stories, it's circulating, and it's hard to not pick those up if you're especially used to picking those up. So if you're the type of person who's been carrying a lot of fear, guilt, anger, shame, right, a lot of these low vibrational energies, and you turn on the world and the world is projecting these as well, how do you get away from it, right? That's the question. Or you walk into your house and you are trying to raise your vibration to a certain level. You're trying to transform through lower vibrations, but then your children are home, they're being homeschooled, your husband's working from home, you're up against triggers all day long, right? And people who aren't walking the path, or people who aren't trying hard. And so it can leave you feeling drained and exhausted, and it can easily pull you back down into these negative vibrational energies. So what do we do? What do we do when we're around people all day long who seem to be pulling us back to negative vibrational energies? And also just the world at large right now is going through a very negative vibrational state. So how to raise your own vibration, that is the question that we're going to talk today. So the first thing, of course, that you have to do is become aware. It's always my first step. So just remember, that is the first step in any process, is to become aware. I'm in a story, right? I'm being triggered. These are negative vibrations, negative patterns, old stories, old patterns, old wounds coming out, and just become aware. The second thing is you want to find, once you realize that you are experiencing a negative vibration or a negative energy, and you figure out what that is, whether it's grief, sadness, anger, whatever, you feel the feeling, you're with the feeling, you're working on letting it go. But you keep on being triggered, like back-to-back triggers keep happening. Or, the world is going at a fast pace of negative energy, or your family dynamics all around you is swirling with negative energy, just say. And it's hard for you to climb out, right? Because you may not be in solitude, you may not be in meditation, you may not be in journal reflection, you may not be able to sit with that feeling in the way that you wish and want to sit with it. So what do you do in that case? Once you become aware that this is not your energy, it's just the energy that's vibrating right now around you, and that you don't have to grab it, that's the first and most important step. We detach, we transform, we try to climb up to one rung higher. So wherever you are sitting in the lower vibrational field, you want to climb one rung higher. So the goal is to get up to neutrality. If you can be at neutrality, you can have peace. You can have a peaceful life. You can have a wonderful life. But when you're anything less than neutrality, you're stuck, okay? And the life, you're not in control of your own life, really, because you don't have the power to choose. You're only reacting. So once we see that these vibrations, we choose, it's a conscious choice not to become a part of them. And then we basically just have to try our hardest to get to neutrality. How can we get to neutrality? And from neutrality, we want to climb up even higher on the vibrational ladder, right? To joy, love, peace, all of that. That's the great stuff. So if you can look around and find out what else is vibrating on that level in the world, right? Maybe there's a funny show on TV. Maybe there's some people walking that you can be outside chatting with. Maybe, you can play with your dog. Maybe you can do anything that raises the vibration, or you can be in tune with others who have higher vibrations at the moment, so that you can just help to get higher. You don't have to go from feeling really fearful, right, from watching the news and seeing what's going on, and having the governments announce more shutdowns, and watching the mess that's going on with US politics. But you don't have to sit in anger or fear. You can change the channel, basically. Just like we have the ability to change the news channel and find a comedy, we have the ability to change our state and our vibrational field and change the channel, right? So we're looking to change the channel, to upgrade, but not to change it from what's happening with US politics and what's happening right now at the Capitol, and then change to a station that's telling us all about COVID, or change to a station that's telling us all about, what might be going on in the UK, or what might be going on in China, right? We're changing the station completely. We're not just changing the channel from one worry to another worry, or one problem to another problem. We're literally changing the station. We could get to neutrality. We could get to something like, a nature documentary, right? That would be fine. We could just sit at that. Or we could change the channel all the way until we find something hilarious that literally makes us lose ourselves and laugh, or such an uplifting story that we feel this uplifting hope and faith and joy, right? So we have the ability to change the channel at any time, just like we have the ability to change our television, turn it off, walk away, change activities, right? Go for a walk, get ourselves out of the state. So it can be challenging, right? With everybody from home, everybody locked at home, everybody sharing the same communal space, and you may not be on the same path. And you may be getting in the way of each other's, getting to a higher vibrational state. But so you just have to be conscious not to get pulled in. So you may have children at home and they start to whine or complain or cry or yell or scream or talk back or whatever it is. And instead of being sucked in to the arguing, to the trying to control, to the trying to change their behavior or modify their behavior, but control their behavior, or give consequences or whatever it is, your first and most important job to do is just to not get pulled in, not get pulled to that vibration. So we want to detach. We want to stay at a neutral level, not so that we're passive and we just let our kids do whatever they want, but so that we can get to a place where when we speak with authority, but not with emotion. We speak from a loving place of wanting better for them, and that this is the way it is, and this is the rules, and this is what we expect, right? So we're trying to get to a place ourselves first that we don't get pulled in, so that we can give the expectations clearly, in the best positive way that we can. So that also works for everything. It works for everything right now, especially with everything going on. So I too am outside trying to make a video because, there's no space in the house. We have everyone worked from home. Everything's cramped. Everyone's kind of in each other's space. So I relate to this a lot right now. This is, what's going on in every household all around the world right now. And what we have to remember is that their emergency is not your emergency. Their crisis is not your crisis. Their complaint is not your complaint, right? Their low vibrational state is not your low vibrational state. So there's nothing that you need to react or to respond to immediately at all. There's no crisis, there's no emergency, like whatever that they're going through, whatever, as we move through the day and everybody gets adjusted to being home together, working, going to school, etc. Whatever that they are going through, they can go through, and you can stay as a witness and be there and love them, and also give support. You can help them through that. You can also give clear instructions on how these are the rules and this is how we expect it to be. A clear outline of the schedule and the daily events. Yes, I know, dog. We also have 2 dogs. So it can be hard. And we're in a rental home right now. So everything's a bit nutty, I'm sure, for everyone. But, you know, their state does not have to be your state. Their emergency, their crisis, their complaints are not yours. So just remember to not get sucked in, to stay on your path, and to keep climbing your vibrational ladder to a higher vibrational state than you currently are. That's all that's expected, is to get from one. If you're here, if you're feeling anger, if you're feeling frustration or whatever, you're climbing up to neutrality. If you're at neutrality, you're trying to climb higher. And sure, you can quantum jump, you can jump if you want to, that's even better. But just remember, become aware. I'm in a story, I'm in a state, this is, not what I want. And then you can choose. You have the power to choose, right? Don't let their emergency become your emergency. Just stay your course, stay your path. Detach, accept, feel your feelings, stay with your emotion as long as required. Watch my video on letting go that I did yesterday. I outline all the steps that you need to be able to let go and carry on. Keep living and trying to live at a higher vibrational state, no matter what the news says, no matter what's going on in your house, no matter what is happening. We're trying to get higher, as only we can provide more joy and love and peace and health and everything to our own state. And as we transform ourselves, we transform others around us, and that's how the world transforms, right? So try not to get pulled down right now by the world and by everything that's going on. Give what you wish to see in the world, which is a higher vibration, instead of projecting fear and talking about fear and making fear contagious. Talk more about love, faith, hope. Give more of a higher vibration, right? Don't give a lower vibration out in the world. But you're working with yourself first. You can't change the world until you change yourself. And I hope this video has been helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.